this point on, this is just a little trick. Don't worry about necessarily the why we do it. You don't need to know that level at GCSE stages. This is just a little trick we do.
Okay.
Now, I will clarify, there's a few different methods of doing this topic. This, over the course of history, is what I have sort of figured is the most universally accepted, easy to digest way to do this. So that times that, write it out again, and then we do like we normally do. A couple sets of brackets here. Now this time, remembering that we have this coefficient of x here, we're gonna write 2x in the front of each. Now don't worry necessarily that that times that doesn't make that. Again, it's just a process, we just have to do this structure. But now, once again, we're looking for two numbers that, times to make that, and add or subtract to make that. So what are we gonna go for?
1 and 5. No. Times to make, sorry?
Times to make this,
Yeah.
and add to make that.
Well, 1 times 4. 1 times 4. 1 and 4.
1 and 4, that's
Yeah.
the one. So
My
we got
bad.
1 and we got 4. Very common mistake though, when you're dealing with sort of 1 and something, the 4 and the 5, very easy to get mixed up. 1 and 4, what
It's
combination
not
of
that
1
easy. You
and 4?
got it wrong, bruv.
What
You're
combination
dumb,
of 1
bruv.
and 4 makes positive 5?
1 and 4. Positive 1 and positive 4.
Plus and plus.
Now that's how you do it. Yeah.
Now, the
Fun you, man.
the final step here is we times something at the beginning.
Yeah.
So we're going to need to divide something at the end. So with these brackets, if you can divide either of the brackets by anything, then you do it.
Okay.
So can either of these brackets be divided by something? In terms of the values
both of them
inside
or one of them?
either of them.
The one on the right can be divided by
By
2.
2, yeah.
So we do divide it by 2.
Do
That's the way it works. So this one stays 2x plus 1, x plus 2. And then you will see that 2x times the x makes 2x squared, the 1 times 2 makes 2, and that is the process of how it works.
Cool.
Now, it is really important to go through repetition of this because the structure, it's a little bit tricky, it's a little bit fiddly. There's a little few random things in there. Why do we do this? Why do we do that? But I promise you, once you commit it to memory, it's very, very simple.
Calm.
What is this method? Does this method have a name?
Probably.
Fair dues. Calm. You just have to memorize this one. Times
so-
the front one. Times the
Times the
the
coefficient.
first coefficient.
Yeah.
The quadratic coefficient
Yeah.
to the end number.
Yeah.
The square coefficient of x times that number to the end one.
And then you
And
find the factors.
Is this you giving it a name?
Nah, we
Oh,
try
okay,
to
you just explain
step
it.
by
Right,
step.
right,
yeah.
right.
I'm assuming I understand. And then whip in and then divide one of the brackets.
Or divide whatever's divisible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it have to be by the same that coefficient number, or is it divided by whatever it can be divided
Almost
by?
always yes, but sometimes if this coefficient is like a 6, then you times 6 across, then maybe you're dividing it by 2, maybe you're dividing it by 3, maybe you're dividing it by 6 itself. Any one of those factors. So don't try and put like a specific rule on it.
Yeah.
Just look at it as whatever can be divided gets divided.
Calm.
Okay.